very serious.
Pretty official.
The reception for this single has been great. It's so exciting because obviously any artist, you're in the studio, you're locked away, you're working on something you're very proud of, and then you eventually let it out into the world. And you just hope that it gets a good response and people love it. And I think this single probably, for a first single, it's the best response I think I've ever had as a solo artist, you know? And that really, it's kind of a good thing, but it's a really good thing because the rest of the album, this is the introduction. You know, the rest of the album will be very much in this vein, lots of fun.
Push yourself, on me, synchronize, on three, keep the jack, jumping, I'll make you sweat.
Yeah, I mean, this track, Sweat, came quite late in the writing sessions, and I was already building this like really beautiful body of work, but I thought I just wanted to inject a little bit more fun into the proceedings and just like really embracing being Sporty Spice, my love of fitness as well as DJing and clubbing, and that's really how Sweat was born. And it was like, wow, this kind of just gives an overview to what's to come. DJing has 100% informed this record. I started about 8 years ago, and it's given me such a different perspective on music, not only listening to it, performing it, making it. And I think it feels like a bit of a superpower. You know, DJing is so much fun and it's brought so much joy into my life that it made it really important that this album as an artist was a lot closer to what I love to play as a DJ. I did have a nickname of Indie Spice, you know, sometimes I was called that in the UK, and I love guitar bands, you know, I've always loved that style of music, Britpop, I was big into that. But before I was part of the Spice Girls, I discovered rave culture. And I was 19, I went into this nightclub, I was on holiday with some friends, heard this music, saw people dancing, it was like this utopia I'd never experienced. And, you know, I had a few years going out clubbing, really enjoying that style of music. And then the Spice Girls happened, and it was such an incredible ride with the Spice Girls, but there wasn't a lot of time to go out, socialise. We were kind of in this bubble of Spice Mania. So I left it behind, I kind of parked it for a minute. And, you know, as well as loving indie music, and that, you know, I'm a music lover. I really don't care what the genre is. If it gets me, it gets me. And that was just a big part of growing up, you know? And to go back to it, rediscover that love of dance music, and to be a DJ, you know, it was something I've always looked at DJs, admired them, and like watched this meteoric rise of the DJ becoming the superstar DJ, you know? And to have the courage, I have to pat myself on the back. It was really scary, that first DJ gig. I can't go into anything. Being a Spice Girl, you can't like quietly enter into a new world. All eyes are on you. So I had to take a deep breath and go for it. That first DJ set, freaking out. I was only just knew my way around the decks. You know, I'd only been having lessons for a few months, but I never looked back because I just love it. And I'm so grateful because it's brought so much to my life, you know, not only as an artist and musically, just the culture, being part of that DJ community. It's such a supportive world as well. So I just feel like I have double the fun these days. You know, I think like everything you ever do, you're kind of carried, aren't you? You're carried with culture. Everything continues to evolve, not only myself as a person, but my influences, the things that I'm around. And definitely, you know, I love Charlie, I'm a massive fan. And it's great, you know, nothing can define what a pop record is now. There are no rules, you know, or the rules are there for breaking. And artists like Charlie are really important for that. And, you know, for me to be on like my 9th solo record, and to be making a record which does feel, you're right, it does feel really different. I feel like I've brought some of my life pre-Spice Girls into this album, which is something I haven't really done before. I think it's really hard. It's like that parental thing, isn't it? Like choosing your favourite child. It's really tough. There's definitely some I'm not that keen on. Like children. I only have one child, so she covers all the bases. Yeah, she's got it all going on. But of course, Northern Star is so important to me. My first solo record, so beautifully received and so successful as well. It took me out on the road for like 2 to 3 years, which was amazing. And, you know, life's a journey, isn't it? And as an artist, thank goodness it is. All these things get thrown at you. There's highs and lows and all the in-betweens. And I think this album has just come at a time where I've been experimenting, I think, on the last 2 records, going in a bit more of an electronic direction. But this feels much more solid, what I want to be. You know, I've maybe found that space. It's a bit more coherent for me. And I'm just so excited for people to hear it. That's the frustrating thing now, isn't it? You're just like waiting to get it all out there. For me, I kind of just go with the flow. I always find I start making a new record when the feeling comes. I never really stop. You know, that's the wonderful thing about my career that I'm so grateful for. Being a Spice Girl has given me this international career. And now adding DJing to that as well. So people mightn't see me out there releasing new music, but I'm definitely somewhere DJing or playing a live show. And it gets to a point where you're like, you know what? I need new music. I need new music for me. I need to be excited. I feel really inspired. Life has thrown so much at me. I need to express it. I need this cathartic feeling of getting it out there. So yeah, the moment just, it's like anything in life, I suppose. When you've got a big decision to make, it goes, okay, this is the right time. Every album, it's a reflection of that moment in time for you, you know, as a human, whatever's going on relationship-wise, in the world around you. And I will always soul search. I think that is an important part of being an artist, and probably why so many people are, and they find it a really, a good way to heal. And yeah, to express themselves and to connect with people. I, like many performers, I'm quite a shy person in real life. And so my ability to express myself through music and lyrics and performances, that gives me the opportunity to connect with people where sometimes I might feel a little bit awkward in a more social situation. One thing I feel very different on this record, the person I am on stage performing is very different to the person I am in the studio creating. But when I'm on stage, I need the music to be able to express myself and be that bigger version of myself, which I feel I am. Like, I always think about when Beyonce introduced Sasha Fierce. You know, we have this persona on stage because nobody's that confident all of the time, but when you're up there, it's this superpower, whatever adrenaline and the energy and the crowd give you. So I had to do some soul searching in that way, in that I had to go, right, I want to be able to get on stage, have fun, bring people joy, have some attitude. And this like little meek girl in the studio who's like being all introspective about, you know, all the tough things that are going on, because, you know, life's all the things. And I was like, no, come on. I kind of give myself a kick up the bum. And I was like, let's have more fun with this process and let's think about the end game. And it was such a great thing to do because I feel like it's taken my music and my work to a different place. There's light and shade. The 2.5 years I was writing this album, my life had twists and turns. You know, I had a long-term relationship that ended. I had a management change. I'm back with Virgin Records. So there's been a lot of change. I'm in a new relationship. So there's been difficult moments within it, and there's been great times. And all of that is reflected in the album. But I think the thing is, I have, like, honestly, DJing is such a huge part of this life change. I'm just having more fun. I saw an interview with Barbra Streisand, and she released a book, like an autobiography, and somebody said, what is there left to do? And she said, I want to live more. And that totally like struck a chord in me, because I've, since being a Spice Girl, like way back when I was like in my early 20s, I've worked and worked and worked and worked, and I love my work. But sometimes, like, my life I've kind of separated. And then I've realised I work so much. My work is my life, you know? So I've just really started to have so much more fun with it and live and not separate things. Yeah, I think I can never say this word properly, compartmentalise so much in life. And I think it's a really important skill, because sometimes we need to be able to do that. But also, we don't have to be apologetic for any side of ourselves. And that's something that's been evolving within me. I think it really started to take effect in 2019 when I was on tour with the Spice Girls. We did some stadium shows in the UK. And it was the first time we were ever present and really taking in the incredible legacy that we'd created and like that shared experience with this huge amount of people. And it was that point I was like, wow, I'm not Sporty Spice or Melanie C. I'm both of those things, and not just some of the time, but all of the time. And yeah, I think it's really important to acknowledge that. And of course, I'm a private person as well. You know, you won't see me showing everything on social media. I'm not really comfortable with that. I like to have a private life, but I am that person 24/7. Sometimes I'm happy and joyful, sometimes I'm really sad, but it's still me. I think sometimes we kind of berate ourselves when we're not feeling the person we want to be, but it's all part of who we are. It's something I think which has taken a long time to get to this point. You know, I've worked on it. My time with the Spice Girls was incredible, and I look back on that so fondly now and with such nostalgia. There were elements of that were really hard. You know, I had some personal issues, things that I had to overcome, and it took me a while to find myself again within that. Who am I? Who am I on the planet if I'm not Sporty Spice in the Spice Girls? And having the opportunities that I've had, being out there working in theatre, you know, doing some radio, releasing music, continuing to do that, DJing as well. And it's just like, yeah, I'm kind of like finding out again who I am and realising, and this is the kind of frustrating part, and you know, hundreds, thousands of dollars later after therapy sessions, you realise who you were in the first place. You know, I think the world just catapults us around, and we hear all of the noise that surrounds everything that we ever do. No matter what industry you work in, everybody's got an opinion on you and what you're doing. And I think as a young person, you can really get, you know, knocked off course by listening to that. Especially someone like me, I'm a people pleaser, you know, I don't like to upset people. And yeah, it's taken me a long time. I think it's age as well. You know, as you get a little bit older, you tend to care less what people think. And that is very liberating. Pressure, that's such a good one, because the world we live in, right, everybody, I'm sure so many people can identify with this song. And it's just that thing, it's like, yeah, when we feel like we're under such incredible pressure, I think we put ourselves under it too. And that's why I've loved bringing in this joy of, you know, the club, out dancing. For me as a human, that is the release. That is the thing. We all work so hard, we save up our pennies, we go to the club at the weekend, and we have this experience with strangers, you know, sometimes, but it's this collective experience, and it's so euphoric, and it's such a release, and we need those releases to be able to get back, you know, back to the rat race or whatever, you know, your life is. So yeah, that was something I wanted to explore, and something which has been so fun. And Sweat really is the lead song on this one, is how much fitness, and especially lyrically, like fitness and clubbing, there's such crossover. So, you know, we're talking about sweating and moving and your heart rate and all of these things. And it's like, I love working out, you know, I'm totally on brand. And I've always been that way. It just makes me feel so good, so strong and so powerful. And that's how I feel when I'm making music or performing music or DJing, and just like crossing those worlds, the club and the gym, and like motivating people. Because I use music for all of the moods. If I'm sad, I will wallow and I'll listen to Fiona Apple, you know, and I will love that moment. And then I want to go out and I want to work out, and I need that motivation. So, you know, it's music for every mood. This has been so fun. I mean, especially now the record's made and it's mastered and it's sounding beautiful. So I love to listen to it in the gym when I'm running. I mean, my daughter laughs at me. She's like, your algorithm is so embarrassing, because it's all you. Yeah, I'm playing out as well. So I played Sweat out. We have another beautiful song, A Place Where We Belong. I've played these songs out in Ibiza, in Pasha, in other clubs and festivals that I've played over the summer of 25. So that's been amazing. I mean, it's daunting. In my DJ sets, I will always play I Turn to You. I have a great Tiesto remix of that track, and it always hits. But to play new music, it's kind of scary. But it's been nice. It's been received well. I think because people recognise my voice as well. So when I'm up there DJing, they're like, oh, hang on a minute. And of course, with Sweat, we have the incredible sample that Diana Ross has allowed us to use, and I'm very grateful, thank you to her, which has just made the song. So there's some familiarity there too. So it's been yeah, a daunting but rewarding thing playing these songs out as a DJ. It is so fun, like getting to DJ, like sometimes in places I haven't even performed as a singer. You know, that's like really, really crazy. But the other thing which is really fun as a DJ is how you can kind of remix on the spot when you do these mashups. I have all the stems for all of my songs, you know, so I can take the vocal, I can put it over something else. So I'll go like way back into the archives of like late 80s, early 90s rave, and I'll pop my little sweat vocal over that. I mean, I do so many things, especially with Spice Girl songs. It's like, that probably shouldn't be legal, but I want to do it anyway. And it just works, you know, it's so fun.
If you wanna be my lover.
It's a community that's been important to myself and the Spice Girls for such a long time. You remember we came out shouting about girl power because we've been told that people weren't that interested in girl bands. They didn't really sell as many records as the boys, and that was like the red rag to the bull. And we had a point to prove, but it was really quickly we realised that we had another demographic, another incredible audience in the LGBTQ+ community. So we love that and we really celebrate that, and I think because Spice Girls was all about individuality and kind of belonging, no matter what. And that's something I've definitely carried into my solo work, and it does totally inform the work that I do. I DJ at so many queer events and pride events, and it just, yeah, you can't get away from it. And this is where, you know, rave culture has been so influential and so important, because I think, you know, when it all started kind of mid to late 80s, you were seeing these different demographics of people all together, and that had never really happened musically before. You know, everyone was out in their tribes. So that's something that, you know, inclusivity, coming together is so important to me, you know, as a human being, as a Spice Girl, as a solo artist. So it's always going to be a big part of the music that I make. It's phenomenal. We can't believe it. We are so proud. And we see it in a lot of the artists. We talked about Charlie XCX and artists like Billie Eilish will talk about us. Dua Lipa I saw recently. And, you know, all of these young women were young people enjoying the Spice Girls. Okay, some of them weren't even born, but, you know, they've discovered them. And that to us is insane, because I'm looking at these artists and they inspire me. And they were inspired by the Spice. So it's this beautiful cycle, you know? And I think just, you know, generally as individuals, as people, you know, we don't go, I take full responsibility for this movement, because I think the mid-90s, it was a really interesting time for women, generally, and for music. And in the UK, it was a really positive time in the UK. And our music scene was super strong, of obviously Britpop and bands like the Spice Girls. So we were part of something, we were part of a movement, and it had a big effect culturally. And I feel like even my daughter and her generation, it's a different world that they inhabit. And they seem, you know, I know all people are different, but there just seems to be a lot more, you know, girls are not afraid to say what they want and to say no. You know, that's something that's been uncovered a lot recently within the media through the 90s and the noughties. It was brutal out there, especially in countries like the UK. And quite extraordinary things were expected of young women in the public eye. And that would never happen anymore. And thank goodness for that. You know, thank goodness that our culture does continue to evolve in a positive way. Obviously, you know, there are other things going on that aren't so great. But, you know, we just have to stick together and keep fighting the good cause. I hope so. I hope so. I always remain optimistic. Of course, 30 years since Wanna Be was released next year. And we have to celebrate in some way. I apologise to anyone who's seen me be interviewed, because I say the same thing every time. But we talk all the time. We have so many opportunities. It's just lining it up. It's just figuring out something we all agree on. We're so precious over the Spice Girls. We want it to be the right thing. And sometimes we don't agree on what the right thing is. So that is what held us back. What can we expect? What can we tease? Okay, well, I'll definitely be performing all over the world. This is the thing for me, that is like the end goal. I love making music and I love getting the record out there and telling everyone all about it, but really the reason is so I can get on that stage, I can be in those cities with those people that want to hear the music. So I'll be in, you know, multiple territories performing this album, and I'm currently working on the creative. Yes, I want it to be quite different. It is a different record for me. There's a lot of physicality within this. I want the visual to be as joyful and entertaining as the music is.
Keep your eyes on me.
People ask me constantly, so I think, yeah, this is where I get a little bit shy, but I'm like, no, come on, girl. I feel like Sweat is like the perfect soundtrack for that. So yeah, there's some amazing, I mean, I've been so inspired by so many of the like iconic fitness moments through the 80s and the 90s, and like Jane Fonda and movies like Flashdance and The Kids from Fame. These are all so much like the fabric of me growing up as a kid, and yeah, I've loved having a bit of fun. And Diana Ross, Work That Body, the sample from Sweat is from that song, and the video for that is so iconic. I mean, anything Diana Ross does is totally iconic. So all of these aesthetics, so I'm kind of like playing with. DJing, I mean, I don't go out clubbing that often, but I'm often in clubs to work, right? Which sometimes is a better way to be, because there's no hangover the next day. You're fully aware of what's going on. But absolutely, being out DJing in these countries and all over the world, it does give me an insight into like what is making people move. You know, what is oh, my word blindness just kicked in. But yeah, for sure, being out clubbing. And I think DJing probably is the biggest thing, because I get to really witness it. I kind of feel like when you're performing, it's like a hyper awareness. It's a really good way to take things in. I want to make people feel good, you know? I want to empower them. I want to motivate people. And like I say, of course, there's more downtime. We all need recovery is a really important part of working out. And yeah, it's just about, for me, being physical, whether it's dancing in a nightclub, whether it's working out in the gym, being physical in my body makes me feel alive. And this record makes me feel alive, and I want other people to feel that too.